What you're about to hear sounds impossible. A gaming studio owned by Activision for nearly 20 years, the creators of Skylanders, Crash Bandicoot 4, and Spyro Reignited trilogy, forced to work on Call of Duty support. Half their team fired, their office shut down, and then they escaped. This is the story of Toys for Bob, and I promise you, this is one of the most dramatic tales in gaming history. Let's get into it. Alright, so to understand how insane this story gets, we need to rewind way back to 1989. Two guys, Paul Reich III and Fred Ford, founded Toys for Bob. They created the Star Control series, these incredible space adventure games that PC gamers in the 90s absolutely loved. For about 16 years, they did their own thing, games with different publishers. They were independent, creative, free. But in 2005, Activision came knocking with an offer, and Toys for Bob accepted. They became a fully owned Activision studio. Now at first, this seemed fine. They had 27 employees. They were working on licensed games like Madagascar, and honestly, the writing was on the wall for licensed games anyway. They needed something bigger, and then they created Skylanders. If you were gaming in 2011, you remember this. Toys that came to life in your game, physical figures you could collect. It was genius. Skylanders didn't just succeed, it created an entire industry, billions of dollars in revenue. Disney Infinity, Low Dimensions, Amiibo, they all followed Skylanders' lead. Toys for Bob had proven they were innovators. They weren't just another studio, they were special. Fast forward to 2018. They deliver the Spyro Reignited trilogy. Beautiful graphics, faithful to the originals. Fans absolutely loved it. Then 2020 Crash Bandicoot 4. It's About Time drops. Critics give it incredible reviews. It's a genuine, quality platformer that respects the legacy while moving forward. Everything looked perfect. Toys for Bob was on top of the world. And that's when everything fell apart. Here's what happened. Crash Bandicoot 4 sold 5 million copies. Now, for most studios, that's a massive success. That's amazing. But Activision, they were disappointed. See, the Crash and same trilogy from 2017 had sold faster. It was a remaster, it had 3 games. Nostalgia was at peak levels. Crash 4 was a brand new game that required more development time and risk. But Activision executives didn't care about context. They wanted lightning to strike twice, immediately. And here's the bigger problem. By 2020, Activision Blizzard had a new strategy. Live service games, Warzone, constant player engagement, microtransactions, season passes. That's where the money was. Single-player platformers? That wasn't the future they wanted anymore. April 2021, Toys for Bob makes an announcement. They're now supporting Call of Duty, Warzone, and Vanguard. Let that sink in. The studio that created Skylanders, that brought Crash and Spyro back from the dead, is now a support studio for Call of Duty. They're not leading projects anymore. They're helping other studios with someone else's vision. Developers started leaving. Some were laid off. The founders, Paul Reich and Fred Ford, they left in 2020 to start their own indie studio. The people who built Toys for Bob from nothing walked away. But here's the part that makes this even more painful. Toys for Bob had been working on Crash Bandicoot 5, not just a sequel. A full crossover between Crash and Spyro, 2 beloved mascots, together for the first time. The concept art looked incredible. The team was passionate. Fans would have gone insane for this. Activision canceled it. Instead, they assigned Toys for Bob to make Crash Team Rumble, a live-service multiplayer game that absolutely nobody asked for. It launched in June 2023. By 2024, support ended. The game died in less than a year. This is what happens when executives chase trends instead of trusting creative vision. October 2023, Microsoft completes their acquisition of Activision Blizzard for almost $69 billion. At the time, a lot of people were hopeful. Microsoft had been pretty hands-off with their Xbox game studios. Maybe things would improve for studios like Toys for Bob. They did not improve. January 2024, Microsoft Gaming announces massive layoffs. 1,900 people across their gaming division gone. Toys for Bob was devastated. 86 employees laid off. That was roughly half the studio. Their physical offices in Novato, California, closed. Everyone who remained transitioned to work from home. Put yourself in their shoes for a second. You're a developer at Toys for Bob. You survived seeing your studio demoted to Call of Duty support. You survived your founders leaving. You survived watching your dream project Crash and Spyro together get cancelled for a live service game that failed. You survived making that failed game. And now, half your friends are gone. Your office is closed. And everyone online is saying your studio is next to be shut down completely. Industry analysts were already writing obituaries. Toys for Bob looked finished. Another talented studio about to be dissolved by corporate consolidation. It looked hopeless. February 29, 2024, Leap Day, and Toys for Bob made an announcement that absolutely nobody saw coming. They were going independent. After nearly 20 years under Activision, after everything they'd been through, they were breaking free. Studio heads Paul Yan and Avery Lodato announced they were returning to their roots as a small, nimble indie studio. But here's what makes this even more incredible. Despite everything, the layoffs, the mismanagement, the cancelled projects, being demoted to support duty, their statement was gracious. They thanked both Activision and Microsoft for being supportive of their decision. And they revealed something huge. They were in discussions with Xbox about future projects. Think about what this means. This wasn't a bitter divorce. This wasn't burning bridges. This was a mutual understanding that the old model wasn't working. Toys for Bob could go independent, make their own decisions, control their own destiny, while potentially still partnering with Microsoft as a publisher. But on their terms this time. They confirmed they're already developing a new game. New characters, new stories, new gameplay. The people who created Skylanders, who brought Crash and Spyro back to life with so much love and care, are now free. No corporate mandates. No being forced onto Call of Duty. No executives killing their dream projects. Just pure creativity. Just game development the way it's supposed to be. They survived. And they escaped. Look. The story of Toys for Bob is everything that is both wrong and right about the gaming industry right now. You've got massive consolidation, studios being mismanaged by executives who don't understand creativity, and this obsession with live service games that's killed so many good projects. But you also have resilience. You have talented people refusing to let corporate bureaucracy destroy their passion. And you have hope. More studios are choosing independence now. Moon Studios, former BioWare developers, veterans from across the industry are realizing they don't need massive publishers anymore. They can do it themselves. Toys for Bob's next game could be anything. It could be incredible. It could change everything. We don't know yet. But here's what we do know. They're going to make it on their own terms. So what do you think they should make next? Should they try to get the Crash and Spyro licenses back? Create something completely new? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want more stories like this, the real stories behind your favorite games and studios, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Because, trust me, there's so much more to tell. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.